I thought I'd make a quick little video to share a little bit about what the heck I'm doing on a meditation retreat. People ask me where am I going for a week for my 40th. I tell them I'm doing a meditation retreat, and they look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, "Oh, that's nice." And then I kind of get that blank stare. So I was like, well, maybe there might be some people that are interested in actually learning a little bit about what it means. So I'm up here at our family's cabin. It's much like a time capsule here. My great grandmother bought this cabin over 40 years ago. And so it's a small cabin, and my family's been coming up here for 40 years or so. Uh, and so I'm going to be doing a Vipassana meditation retreat with just a few friends. And so you can see right here, I've got my cushion and my blanket set up. That's where I'll be spending about 7 to 11 hours a day. And so the schedule goes like this. Wake up in the morning around 6 a.m., sit for an hour, walk for 30 minutes, breakfast. Sit for an hour, walk for 30 minutes, sit for an hour, walk for 30 minutes, lunch. Sit for an hour, walk for 30 minutes, sit for an hour, walk for 30 minutes, dinner, and so on. Rinse and repeat. So this will be the area that we do our sitting practice. And then out here on the patio deck is where we'll do our walking practice. And what all this is about really is, how do we cultivate the mind? How do we start looking at, the mind and how our thoughts and feelings are behaving? So when we walk, we do slow walking practice out here, back and forth very slowly. And what we're looking at is, what are the intentions that arrive? What are the emotions that arrive? By slowing everything down, by slowing down our physical feelings, our physical being, not moving, being slow, moving slowly. What we're really doing is we're helping bring up the qualities of mind that we want to be able to see more clearly, so we can let positive and negative emotions flow through us, so we can start identifying different parts of our mind. So we start recognizing that we are not our thoughts, right? None of us are. We all have thoughts, but there's an observer. There's an awareness that's aware of thoughts. And so by sitting, what we're doing is we're actually being able to hone that skill to see a thought coming through without identifying with it, without it being just the thought train. And all of a sudden our anxieties and our worries take over, and we find ourselves really cramped down by these fears and thoughts and emotions. Well, by giving ourselves some distance, we create what we call an observational gap. And so we create a gap between the thought and our experience of it, so we can see it's just a thought. They're just thoughts. And yet there's still an observer. There's still awareness that can observe that thought. And we start saying, well, who am I? If this is a thought and there's an observer of the thought, what does that mean about who I really am? What does that mean about who I am as a human being? What does that mean about what all human beings are? At our center, we're still, we have light, we have beautiful spirits. And when you see a child come into the world, children come into the world with joy. And that's inside of all of us. And so how do we start bringing that out more fully? Because over the years, we start layering on all these responsibilities and duties and all this heavy stuff we put on ourselves about who we are, who we need to be. And so through this kind of meditation practice, we're letting a lot of that surface, and it's called grist for the mill, right? It's not necessarily comfortable stuff, because a lot of stuff's going to come up. But as we start learning to observe it and create that space, we can start having more compassion for ourselves. We have more love for ourselves. More joy will arise in the mind. More calmness will rise in the mind. And then when those negative feelings and emotions come up, we also don't react so strongly to them, and we're allowed to let them flow through us. It also gives us greater compassion for everybody else, because all human beings everywhere are going through the same thing. So I thought I'd just take a moment to share. This is what I'm doing for the next week. I'll be turning my phone off, which I'm actually a little bit anxious about. That's going to be part of what's going to come up for me, which should be fun. And that's where I'll be. So if you're looking for me, I'm going to be sitting right there on my cushion, or I'm going to be walking right outside here, back and forth slowly. And that's what's going to be happening. So I look forward to talking to you soon, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.